Well, if you've ever watched supercross, you know it's an extreme and physically demanding sport. But for Carl Schlacht, one of the best-known pros in the sport, racing isn't the only challenge he faces. That's because he lives with a rare medical condition called primary immunodeficiency, or PI. And he joins us today to tell us more about this disease, along with Dr. John Sleesman from the University of South Florida. Now, Carl, tell us about the challenges you face both on and off the racetrack in living with your condition.
Yeah, there's definitely challenges I face, and they're kind of similar. I face challenges on the racetrack, and I face challenges in my life dealing with PI. On the track, I have to make sure at the top physical condition, I make sure everything's in order, my bike's ready, I'm able to be out there and compete at the highest level. And same thing with PI and treating that. I need to do my therapies on the regular schedule and stay in touch with my doctor. And that way I'm able to stay healthy. And with recent developments the past couple years, instead of going to the hospital to receive these infusions, now I'm able to administer my therapy on my own, during my own time, on my own schedule, whether I'm at home or out of town on the road. And it's really convenient for me. And I'm able to follow my dreams and live my life like a normal person and do whatever I would like to do.
Now, Dr. Sleesman, what exactly is PI? What are the warning signs and how is it treated?
PI is short for primary immune deficiency, so it's a group of disorders of the immune system. The immune system is the part of the body that protects us from infections, so patients who have PI have the inability to fight infections. The warning signs are primarily infections that can range from a common type of infection, say a sinus infection, to a severe infection such as a pneumonia, or unusual infections, say an infection of the bone or infection of the skin, or an infection of other parts of the body. What all of these infections, though, have in common is that they don't respond typically to the antibiotics that patients who don't have immune disorders would receive and be able to recover. And so these patients are sick all the time. Their illnesses can be recurring, and they can be very severe and sometimes result even in death if not recognized. Primary immune deficiency disease, if it's suspected, can be tested for using a simple blood test. And if the diagnosis is made, then there are treatments that are available. The treatments have come a long way. The first use of antibody replacement therapy, or what we call immune globulin for patients with antibody deficiency disorders, really came to the forefront in the early 1980s when we could use an intravenous form of antibodies to administer the life-saving treatments to patients with PI. Prior to that time, patients would die because we weren't able to give enough replacement antibody, and certainly by the time a child was 10 or 15 years old, usually they succumb to infections, usually infections in the lung. Carl's really the first generation of young people who have grown up with PI and have been receiving their therapy lifelong, as he will need to receive. We've also made advances. In the old days, we used to have to give it only as an intravenous infusion over many hours, but the new advances in treatments have resulted in patients being able to self-administer their immune globulin, as they do in Carl's case, with a subcutaneous injection that they self-administer once a week. They don't have to come to an infusion center, they don't have to get an IV, and they can control their own lives, and it really gives them the freedom to do things like be a supercross racer.
So, Carl, tell us about this new campaign you're helping to launch today and how people with PI can get involved.
I'm very excited to be a partner with CSL Behring and launch the I Am a Champion campaign. What this campaign is a website driven for people with PI or somebody who may not have PI who is looking for more information. You can also learn about more of my story on the site, and for people with PI, you can share your story to help inspire other people like I've done.
And finally, where can our viewers go to get more information on PI?
I encourage everyone to get on the internet and visit IamAchampion.com. There's tons of great information on there.